So good morning. So today we'll be in the last topic. Okay. Uh, so we are going to see about an hooks and scoops. Okay. So first of all, we are in need to know what is the soft scoop gripper. Okay. So it is an under actuated tendon driver gripper. With this, we'll have two flexible fingers, which is composed of six soft rigid modules, each and a scoop. Okay. So these modules which can be assembled with different stiffness values at flexible joint level, and they can be obtained through changing 3D printed parameters during manufacturing. Okay. So whereas the hooks and scoops in the path of dinner, they are to be the simplest type of end effectors, which can be classes of grippers. Okay. So when we are saying about a scoop or a ladle, which is commonly used to scoop up molten metal and transfer it to the mold. Whereas the hook, it may be all that is needed to lift a part, especially if precise positioning is not required over on it. Okay. Whereas in the case of hooks in the Patana, they are used to load and unload parts hanging from the overhead conveyor. The parts to be handled by a hook, which must have some sort of handle, eye bolt or ring to enable the hook to hold it. Whereas in the case of scoops, they are used for handling the materials in liquid or power from the limitations of the scoop it is. So it is difficult to control the amount of material being handled by the scoop. In addition, the spilling of the material during handling is another problem over on it. Okay. So these are about the hooks and scoops. Whereas in the case of an expandable bladder type gripper. Okay. When the case of an expandable bladder type gripper, okay, so it is a bladder hand, so it is a specialized robotic end effector which can be used to grasp, pick up, and move rod-shaped or cylindrical objects. Okay, so the main element of the gripper when the path of Dina, it will have an inflatable donut shape or a cylindrical sleeve, which resembles the commonly used as a blood pressure measuring apparatus. Okay, we are in need to know how it is works. So actually, the sleeve is positioned. Okay, so it surrounds the object to be gripped, and then the sleeve is inflated until it is tight enough to accomplish the desired task. Okay, and the pressure exerted by the sleeve, which can be measured and regulated using a force sensors over on it. Whereas the bladder grippers, uh, they are useful in handling fragile objects. However, they could not uh, do operate fast, and they can function only with the object within a narrow range of physical sizes. Whereas in the case of bladder grippers, they will have a related supply. There is a inflatable seal, the type of rubber seal which inflates over on it. Okay, and when you are saying about bladder grippers, so actually we'll have a different type. So we'll have a parallel motion, three jaw, bellows, O-ring, needle. Okay, everything we have over on it. Okay, and when you are saying about apart from that, we'll have active and passive grippers. So in contrast to active grippers, that is which requires the continuous pressurization, so that uh, the presented passive gripper which requires only for the release process. So however, it is due to its working principle. So actually, the gripper is restricted to only for the flat objects or objects with at least one surface. Okay. Uh, may anyone know who is the father of robot? So actually, Joseph F. Engelberger, an American physicist, engineer, and businessman. He was the birth of one who is the father of the robotics. Okay, and do you know who is the famous robotist? Actually, Joseph Engelberg. Okay, so he is the famous robotics and first real robot with a name and ceremony. So that is to be the a digitally operated and programmable robot was invented by George Deville in 1954, and it was ultimately called as a Unimate. Okay, and these are all the information